Hey cuties, Lady A3 here, and today I'm going to be using all of these supplies, as well as some mixed media paper and some watercolor paper. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm doing. The plan is to paint the same thing with 4 different mediums. We've got watercolor, gouache, acrylics, and Posca Pens. As for what we'll be painting, it's going to be this leaf. A Facebook friend of mine posted it, and I had to paint it. I really wanted to. So I saved the picture. I did get her permission after the fact, but she's totally cool with it. She's actually excited, so we're gonna jump right in. I did a quick sketch on all 4 sheets of the paper. They're not all exactly the same. The point was more like, how does it come out with the different mediums? Like, how do they all feel? And, getting more practice with the mediums as well. If you saw my video last week, this is the project that I was trying not to completely spoil and instead get you hyped for. So this is actually my first time using the watercolor paints, and they are the first leaf that I paint as well. Just cleaning up, making sure they all have the right shape at the bottom, because I realized I was taking a little bit of a shortcut there, so it's not quite the right shape. And I didn't want the sketch to be too dark for any of these. Jumping right in with the Rubens student grade watercolor paints. I did not go the wet on wet method. I haven't tried that yet. I've only tried wet on dry. So I am first going in with like this nice bright grassy green wash all over the whole leaf, picking hairs out of the paint. The brush was a little fuzzy. And then I just jump right in with all the little splotchy spots. I was trying to get the illusion of the 3D object a bit with the shape of the leaf, that deeper middle crease where all the little veins come out, and the slightly curled over edges, as well as kind of how those veins flow on the sides of the leaves. Just trying to kind of have that as a underpainting effect, so that the leaf wouldn't just look flat on the paper. I do spend a lot of time talking in these videos, so today I thought I'd try out leaving some space for just the paint to speak for itself and for the music to just kind of let you enjoy the process. So I did have to take a lot of breaks to let the layers dry, and I got those out. They're not fun to watch. So I'm nearly done with the darkest color that I'm adding to the leaf, because there were multiple tones of green in the original photo. And once that is dry, I do go in with some colored pencils and a Posca pen to add in some additional texture and little bits of highlights. So we're going to jump into that in just a second after I clean this palette. kept it pretty simple with the pencils. I went in and lightened some areas and kind of smoothed them out with the white. I also brought back a little bit of the warm yellow tones that are in the base color of the leaf with that kind of yellow ochre colored pencil, and added a little bit of texture with the green pencils. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how this painting came out, especially given it was my first real try with watercolors. I think I did alright. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Going in with the Posca now. I will be posting close-up photos of these on Instagram once this video is live. So if you want a better look in detail of the paintings, then go look there. Next, we are jumping into the gouache, which works similarly to watercolor. It's a bit more opaque. You can go straight in without adding water, but I prefer to. Speaking of things that are different in this video, I did move my nicer camera up to the top-down view with the ring light and my other lights. And I think this worked better for filming. I think for live streams this is what I'll do as well. The only issue is that because it is totally flat, some of the proportions sometimes get a little wonky. Like the fish I painted last week looked a little strange when I actually looked at it at like a 45-degree angle instead of a 90-degree angle. So I think I need to get a tabletop easel with a flat back so I can paint things at more of an angle instead of straight down. Also, I know the shiny purple background can be a little distracting, so I'm thinking on what I want to put there instead. I don't want it to be something permanent because I like the way the light reflects off of it during the day. It bounces these rainbows and like pinky purple light all over the studio, so I like having it there, but it is a bit distracting for videos, so I'm thinking either a roll of paper or some kind of fabric, something I don't mind getting paint on, but that isn't too distracting. Let me know if you have any ideas. But with this gouache piece, I did a similar thing. Light wash at the bottom. I had issues preserving that like middle stem line with the watercolor piece, so I made an effort to make that stand out in this one. And again, tried to give that 3D illusion with the shape and flow of the leaves. I also think my shape on this one's a little bit better. Instead of going in with Poscas or watercolor pencils, I just went right in with white gouache on this to give it some highlight. So that is now this one done, and it's dry, and we're jumping into the acrylics. Here I'm using Liquitex Professional Hardbody acrylics. I don't think I'm using any of the soft body. Oh, the bright green is this. Oh no, that's also a hard body paint. Sorry. So, Liquitex Professional Heavy Body Acrylics. Same thing here, roughing out that green undertone, trying to cover up the pencil lines. I wanted to go lineless for all of these. Adding some dimension with our bright green. The flat color was the bright green mixed with some yellow, so this is just slightly deeper, but just enough to give more of a structure to our leaf. I think this one's my favorite. It might just be because I'm the most experienced with acrylics. So I knew how I wanted to layer and build with them, but I like the end result of this one the best. That said, I do like them all. Something I've noticed as I've made these videos, and it's something I think about more as I'm painting now, is when I'm trying to be a bit more loose with the brush strokes and more of like a gestural shape, I notice I hold the brush pretty high up, or low, whatever, away from the ferrule, I'll say. And then when I want to add more detail, I hold it a lot tighter, closer to the ferrule, closer to the brush, and I just thought that was interesting. Like, you can see the level of control change depending on what I'm doing. With this darker tone, I initially mixed it and didn't quite like it. It was a bit too blue toned, so I went in and added more of our lighter green, and then liked it a lot better. Greens are tricky, paint-wise. The ones I have, they're either very yellow and bright and opaque, but if you go to the dark end, they're more on the translucent end, and they have a lot of blue in them, so they're just not quite the same. We're untaping this piece, and we'll show all of them at the end. Jumping into the Poscas. So the Poscas are interesting because I didn't quite have the right colors, and I'll explain what I'm doing in a second, but you'll see the colors look a little bit crazy on this one initially, but I think I pulled it off in the end. Here I'm blocking out the color. If you've ever worked with Poscas or any other paint marker on paper, you know that it has a tendency to make the paper pill and potentially tear, so it's easiest to work in small sections, and until this first layer is dry, to not go over the same area more than once. So I let this set for a little while, wiped off as much of the little pilled paper bits as I could, and then I went in with this light kind of warm yellow, and it almost looked neon initially, but I'm adding in that shape and structure and kind of flow of the leaves, and when I go in and add the other greens on top, I think it pulls it together. But at this stage I couldn't help but be worried because it was looking pretty crazy. Fun though, it looked fun, like it had kind of a pop art look, but it does come back to more of a natural color as we go. Poscas are interesting because it's a combination of almost too much control in the larger areas, but then also not enough, because the nibs are a set size. You can't get smaller. So you can't necessarily get as many details as you might want. But at the same time, every stroke is very intentional. You can't just mush it on like with a brush. So the style of this one is a bit different. Going in with the highlights already, and I think I do break them up just a tiny bit with the medium green tone. And we're rolling into the reveal of all 4 paintings. Initially, I did not have them in the right order, so you'll see me kind of shuffling them around. I'm trying to get them all in frame. So left to right, we have watercolor, gouache, acrylics, and Posca. Let me know which one's your favorite. Do you have a preferred medium? What do you think of this experiment? I would love your opinions and any tips you have in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe, like, follow me on my socials, and don't forget to stay charming. Goodbye!